This video is brought to you by Dave. When it comes to horror movies, it takes a lot to get me going these days. Modern horror movies, specifically the ones coming out of this company, have grown a little stale to me. Not that they're bad, it's just I know what I'm getting into at this point. I've recently felt almost desensitized to this new style of horror. Until I saw Talk to Me. Oh man, did this one disturb me. Talk to Me is the new film from directing duo Michael Philippou and Danny Philippou, aka Raka Raka. I'll be honest, I had never heard of these fellas before this film started getting hype at Sundance, but to see a couple of YouTubers find success in the film industry is always extremely inspiring and exciting, so I had to check this thing out. It's funny, at Sundance when I was picking up my press pass, both of them sprinted past me in the hallway with vlog cameras, and they looked so happy and excited, and you know what? Good for them, because this is a good ass movie. Talk to Me is about a group of teen friends who discover they can talk to spirits through a strange hand, and when one of the kids goes a little too deep with the game, things get hairy. Personally, I would touch the hand, I'll admit it. It's pretty scary, but not as scary as when you're finding unexpected expenses and you're in a pinch with cash before your next paycheck. So I'm excited to partner with today's sponsor, Dave. Dave is the banking app that's leveling the financial playing field. When you download Dave, you can get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less. No credit check, no late fees. It's part of Dave's extra cash account. Advance the money you need with no interest and then settle up later. I like extra cash because it gives you more money to buy things like groceries, fill your tank, finally get your car repaired, or just catch up on bills without waiting for your next paycheck. You can even build credit when you settle up on time. There are millions of people out there who have already downloaded the Dave app to make their finances easier, and you could be the next one. If you're in a pinch, get the help you need by downloading Dave. Download Dave today at dave.com/Karsten. That's dave.com/Karsten. You can get $500 in 5 minutes or less, no credit check, no late fees. Download the Dave app or go to dave.com/Karsten. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Eligibility criteria and instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve, member FDIC. And back to the video. The film stars Sophie Wilde, and I feel like that's a good place to start. She is incredible. I haven't seen a horror performance this committed since Toni Collette in Hereditary, another Sundance horror hit that A24 picked up. Just saying. Between her and Cillian Murphy, there are so many good eyes on theater screens right now. She has this magnetic quality about her screen presence. I'm so sure she's gonna go places, and if she doesn't, we have failed. She jumps between the horrific stuff and the more dramatic stuff so effortlessly, even tossing in some comedic chops every now and then too. Most of this movie is just her. She's carrying a lot of it on her shoulders, and there wasn't a second where she didn't deliver. I never doubted her. She's great, but everyone else is really great too. All the teenage actors were amazing. They had so much energy. It felt like they were bouncing around the screen, which just goes to show how fun this set must have been. This dude specifically, Chris Alozio, God, he was so good. I loved whatever the hell he was doing. The performances are just one of many things about this movie that just ooze confidence. It's been a while since I've seen a debut feature so comfortable with itself. It feels like they've been at this for years, which I guess they kind of have. They have a lot of moments with the camera where it'll move with an object or character. The most common is when a character would tilt their head back and the camera followed with them. Not the first time I've seen something like this, but the way they use it in conjunction with the sound design makes it such an intense movement. It's crazy when you see it, which can be said about a lot of this film. It's not the first time I've seen themes like this or the first time I've seen scares like this, but it's the way they do it that makes it unique. The whole damn thing is intense. It's such a crazy, crazy movie. The concept is great and is honestly a bit easy to mess up, and these guys do it so much justice and make it just the most horrifying and mind-bending film possible. In that sense, it tracks that they both came from YouTube. This has a certain energy about it that's very quick and sometimes a little immature. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just that we're dealing with, teenage kids here, but it's never not controlled. Besides the music supervision, which, sorry, it just felt out of place for me. Didn't work. Some scenes do feel like they move at the same pace as certain YouTube videos, which was kind of strange to see in a movie. I've been thinking a lot about how traditional film and television would blend with the style of filmmaking that's happening on YouTube, if the industry would ever adapt or find a way to successfully incorporate that style, or if that's even possible. And the timing is so funny because this weirdly enough felt like the first time I've seen it happen successfully. It was a pretty seamless blend. Maybe this is a stretch, but to me, the sound design / mix in this is uniquely YouTube. Everything is so punchy and loud and aggressive. There's even a small pillow smack at the beginning of the film that sounds less like a pillow and more like a brick hitting a wall. Small details like that add to just how tense and energetic this whole thing feels, and makes you feel like if that's what a pillow sounds like, what the hell is the rest of this movie gonna be? Which seems like a good time to start talking about the makeup. Listen, man, I don't give a shit what the movie is. If the makeup is cool, I'm gonna be happy, and it's really good in this movie. Everything from the simple black eye contacts that look way more unsettling than you expect them to be, to the over-the-top slimy disfigured design of some of the spirits. It's all so well done. I don't want to spoil, but dude, there's an eye thing at one point Jesus Christ. Maybe I'm just sensitive to eye stuff, but oh, did that get me. Everything that happens to that boy is so disturbing and crazy and disgusting. He just gets... There's even a kangaroo. I guess that has nothing to do with what I was talking about, but I had to bring it up. What I love about it is it's just a blend of every good thing about horror, you know? Like, there is the really disturbing body horror stuff that makes you squeamish, but there's also moments in here that remind me of Evil Dead 2, where blood is gushing out of somebody like a sprinkler, and it's kind of goofy. The scene that happens in is like a devastating scene in the story, yet the kill is sort of goofy, and I really like that about it. I like that they're able to blend those two tones in one, which brings me into my favorite and final thing about this movie. You see, horror seems to be in a weird place right now, where it's been divided into two types, the traditional jump scare horror and the quote-unquote elevated horror, an annoying term that we're going to use to describe most of the stuff coming out of A24, but to be honest, I still don't know what that means. And Talk to Me feels like something new entirely. You could call it a blend of the two types I just described, but there's nothing about this that really fits the whole elevated horror thing I was describing. I guess the movies most often associated with that term aim to unsettle you and make you think, which gets exhausting after a while, oftentimes taking the fun out of horror movies. And Talk to Me is a lot of fun. But I also think it's doing more than just jump scares and surface level thrills. It made me squeamish in the moment, yes, but this film is deeply disturbing the more you sit with it. It's in the last act of this film where all the real horrors start to hit you, when reality starts to get foggy and the actions get more nightmarish. There's certain scenes in the back half of this thing that I have not been able to stop thinking about. They kind of like left a scar in my brain. It really just feels like a new, original, and exciting idea altogether that uses the genre as a means of exploring grief and what falling down an unhealthy path of grieving looks like, but never losing itself in that deeper meaning like so many other horror films tend to. It's a near perfect execution of a really fun idea, and oh does it stick the landing. Oh man, that ending is great. And I also just really love the existence of this movie, that I just saw a movie by a couple of YouTubers that didn't feel like YouTubers jumping into a new form altogether, but instead felt like YouTubers taking their style and applying it to film. I think that's a really cool thing that I wish I got to see more often. It goes without saying that I cannot wait to see what they do next. So if you want to see something fun and weird and disturbing, you should go see this movie. And as always, thanks for watching. Go watch Talk to Me and form your own opinion, and before you head out,